Hi everyone, I am Sierra Marie Bond and I am so excited for today's episode. We're talking to an aerospace engineer, learning about rocket propulsion, and even making our very own rocket. Rockets are tall, cylindrical vehicles that move satellites and astronauts into space. And for the first time in almost a decade, we are actually going to be launching American astronauts from American soil using an American rocket. On Saturday, May 30th, we will be, hopefully weather permitting, launching some astronauts from the Space Coast of America, Cape Canaveral, Florida. To learn more about rockets and aerospace engineering, I sat down with one of my favorite aerospace engineers, Maggie. She's a student at Wichita State University studying aerospace engineering. She's a camp counselor at the Cosmosphere, Kansas's very own space museum, and she is currently working on a summer project with NASA called the L-Space program. I can't wait for you to learn more about what she's been up to and listen to her as she explains aerospace engineering and why the launch on Saturday is so exciting. So let's start at the beginning. What is a rocket?
A rocket is a vehicle that we use to explore space.
Got it. So like satellites and astronauts go up in it.
Yes.
And so we have some astronauts actually going to space this weekend.
Yes, we
do. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So this weekend is really exciting and important for two different reasons. First of all, the last time that we launched American astronauts from American soil was July 8th, 2011. So almost 9 years ago. And then soon after that, we had the retirement of the space shuttle. And since then, we have relied on other countries to get us up into space. Typically, we rely on Russia. So what's happening tomorrow, hopefully, fingers crossed, is we're launching American astronauts on an American rocket from American soil with the help of SpaceX, which is what makes this launch also historical, because it's going to be the first time that astronauts have launched from a vehicle made by a private company in the United States, not from a government-made rocket.
Got it. So this is a partnership between NASA and SpaceX really coming together and using innovation to move us forward in the realm of space exploration.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. In recent years, as NASA has talked more and more about going back to the moon, going back to the moon has actually been a conversation that has been happening since the Obama administration. And NASA has tried and tried and tried to create rockets and implement systems to get us there. And last year, the projected date for us going back to the moon was 2028. And then the president announced that we're actually going to be trying to go back by 2024. And the way we have to achieve that is by using private companies, because the technology NASA itself has right now is not ready. But by partnering with companies like SpaceX, we're going to be able to get there faster.
Here's a not so easy question. What, in your opinion, is one of the biggest reasons why we should go to space? Why is going to space so important?
First of all, my go-to answer to this all the time is to push the limits of what humanity can do. Technology is developed by pushing our limits. Like, we would have never had airplanes, which is something a lot of people rely on today, if the Wright brothers hadn't flown and pushed the limits of what we can do. We wouldn't have the International Space Station if we didn't create rockets and send people to the moon. So we're constantly, that's how new technology has been developed. And there's been so much technology that has been developed because of space exploration. We're looking at different ways to do 3D printing and different ways to make different types of filaments to make faster internet, better cell phone connections. And we're finding that these manufacturing processes can only be developed in space because of the lack of gravity. So a lot of technology that we don't know exists yet can be developed with further space exploration. Right now we're doing that in a confined space on the International Space Station, but with the further exploration of the moon and hopefully Mars, we'll hopefully develop somewhat of like a base to be able to do this more effectively.
I think it's super cool as a way to help humanity here on Earth by investigating what's happening in space and kind of replicating it down here. So you're an aerospace engineer.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about what got you into aerospace engineering?
Okay, the answer to that is honestly the Cosmosphere. I attended camps when I was in early grade school, so like first grade through fourth grade. They introduced me to what aerospace engineering is, and that it's really the driving force behind what gets us into space. So aerospace engineering is the science of how rockets and planes work and how we can get them there. And I was introduced to this concept during one of the camps called Mars Academy, where we talk about how do we explore space. And I remember sitting in a classroom at the Cosmosphere, and the camp counselors were just talking to us. I now know that they were trying to kill time, since this is now my job, but they were just talking to us, and we were talking about like the future of space exploration. And I remember they looked at us and they looked at a bunch of fourth graders and they were like, you guys are going to be the ones that are going to make the things that go to Mars. You guys are going to be the ones going to Mars and back to the moon and et cetera, et cetera. And in that moment, I remember thinking to myself, I want to build something that goes to space. This is what I want to do with my life. And ever since then, I've chased that dream.
I love it. So what are you doing now in the realm of aerospace? I know you've got a really cool project going on this summer.
So I am a student at Wichita State University, majoring in aerospace engineering, obviously. But this summer, I am participating in NASA's L-Space Academy. And so what this program is it's a partnership between Arizona State University and NASA, and they try to give students skills that aren't traditionally taught in the classroom. There are two different academies, the Mission Concept Academy, where you basically learn how does NASA come up with their missions. I am doing the NASA proposal writing and evaluation experience. Basically, I'm working on a team of 13 people, which is 12 undergraduate students, including myself, and one NASA professional. And we are identifying a pain point that NASA has, so something that they need to solve in order to continue doing the exploration they want to do, but they haven't yet solved, and proposing a solution to NASA. So it's really giving me experiences that I wouldn't have until I entered the workforce.
Got it. That is so cool that you're able to do it, and you're able to do it all virtually, right?
Yes.
Is there any final thoughts about rocket science or aerospace or space exploration or just anything in these last couple of minutes that you want to share?
One thing I would emphasize is while a lot of people consider aerospace engineering to be the only part of space exploration, there is so much more to it. If you're interested in space and want to work in space, no matter what your specialty is, no matter what your majoring is, you can no matter what you're majoring in, you could probably find a job within the space community.
Love that. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, Maggie. If you want to follow her, be sure to check her out on Instagram at astro.maggie or check her out on Twitter, Maggie with 3 G's, Grace. Now, I did promise that we would be building our very own rocket today, so we are going to be building straw rockets. There is a written instructable in the description below that you can print out and follow along. If you decide to make a straw rocket, go ahead and take pictures or videos of it launching and be sure to share them with me. I would love to see your rocket science creations.